These are my Premier League predictions for game week 6. Starting off, we have Crystal Palace versus Fulham. I think this game could go either way, but I'm going to go for a Crystal Palace win. Moving on to Man City versus Nottingham Forest. I think Man City just going to have way too much quality for Forest, even though they've been on a good run of form so far this season. Then Luton versus Wolves. I'd say that these are the two worst teams in the league, arguably. Neither of them look particularly good going forward or defensively, and I think this game's probably going to end a draw, either 0-0, maybe 1-1. The next game is Brentford versus Everton. Now, we all know how good Brentford are at home and how bad Everton are away, so this is only going to go one way. It's going to be a Brentford win. And then the last game on Saturday is Burnley versus Manchester United. And following some sort of negativity around Manchester United, they've had, 3 losses on the bounce, and there's sort of negativity coming from the changing room, leaks about people no longer backing Ten Hag. I think he's going to want a great performance in this game, and I think it's going to be a Manchester United win at Turf Moor. Moving on to Sunday's games, Chelsea taking on Aston Villa, and I think Villa are going to comfortably beat Chelsea. We know how awful they've been the past few games, and I think that poor run of form is just going to continue at this point. They've got too many young players. They haven't got enough leaders in that squad. Pochettino seems, I don't want to say he's out of his depth, because I think there's lots of other issues around Chelsea which aren't Pochettino's fault, but there's too many young players. They're not all going to get the game time they need to actually develop, and I think things are going to go from bad to worse for Chelsea. Next up, Liverpool-West Ham. I think this is going to be a Liverpool win. Then the North London derby. Well, not really the North London derby, because Arsenal aren't really a North London club. They're sort of bounced around all over London. It's sort of just like a London derby. But I think this is going to be a draw. I think both teams are sort of similar in quality. If anyone's going to edge it, it'd be Arsenal, but that's just because they're at home. Or again, not really home, because their home isn't really North London. They sort of just went there because Spurs were there. Next up, Brighton versus Bournemouth. Obviously, Brighton are coming off quite a poor start in the Europa League, and I think they're going to draw against Bournemouth, who I think have looked quite good so far this season, and certainly have been getting lots of draws. And finally, it's Sheffield United versus Newcastle United, and I think this game's going to end a draw. Newcastle haven't been in great scoring form recently, and I think Sheffield United defensively. We've looked really good the past few games. I don't really think Newcastle will put that many past us. So I think it's either going to be a 0-0 or 1-1 draw. But yeah, that's all I've got to say on this topic. Thanks for watching.